Picture this, a bustling evening at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta. The air thick with the hum of travelers chasing dreams. In the sleek, polished cabin of Horizon Airlines first-class lounge, Vivian Harris stands tall. At 70, she's a vision of grace, a retired teacher with warm brown skin, silver curls framing a face that radiates kindness, and a smile that could light up the darkest room. Her elegant purple dress hugs her balanced frame, but her eyes betray a flicker of unease. She's clutching a first-class boarding pass, Seat 1A, a birthday gift from her son, Marcus. For Vivian, this flight to London isn't just a trip, it's a dream she's carried for decades. But as she steps into the plush first-class cabin, the air shifts. Karen Mitchell, the head flight attendant, a woman with a razor-sharp bob and a smile as cold as a January wind, blocks her path. "Ma'am," Karen snaps, her voice dripping with contempt. "What are you doing here? First class isn't for folks like you." The cabin falls silent. Vivian's heart pounds, but she holds her ground, her voice steady. "This is my seat, 1A. Karen laughs, a cruel, cutting sound. "Must be a glitch. Economy's in the back, where you belong." Passengers turn, some smirking, others whispering. A man in a tailored suit, James Carter, mutters, "Get this sorted already." Vivian's fingers tighten around her boarding pass, her dignity under siege. "My son bought this ticket," she says, her voice trembling but firm. Karen leans in, her eyes narrowing. "Either walk to the back, or I'll have security drag you out." The threat hangs heavy, the cabin a pressure cooker of judgment. But what Karen doesn't know, the woman she's humiliating is the mother of Marcus Harris, the CEO of Horizon Airlines. One phone call, one moment, is about to flip this entire plane upside down. Stick with us. This is a story of justice you won't forget. Let's step back for a moment, before the chaos of that first-class cabin, to meet the woman at the heart of this story, Vivian Harris. At 70 years young, Vivian is a force of quiet strength, her warm brown skin glowing under the soft lights of the Horizon Airlines first-class lounge at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. She's a retired teacher from Atlanta's South Side, her balanced frame draped in a simple yet elegant purple dress that hugs her like an old friend. Her silver curls, swept back with a delicate clip, frame a face that's both kind and striking, a face that smiled through decades of hardship and joy. In her hands, she clutches a worn copy of Toni Morrison's Beloved, its pages dog-eared from countless readings. This book, like Vivian, has seen a lifetime of stories. Vivian's life wasn't paved with gold. Born in a modest clapboard house in Georgia, she spent 40 years teaching English to kids in Atlanta's toughest neighborhoods. Her hands, still steady, have graded thousands of essays, wiped tears from young faces, and held the dreams of students who called her Miss Vivian long after they'd grown. She's a widow now, her husband, a carpenter, gone 10 years this spring. But her spirit, unbreakable. Every wrinkle on her face tells a tale of sacrifice, of working late nights at a second job to put her son, Marcus, through college, of skipping meals so he'd never go hungry. Tonight, Vivian sits in the plush lounge, her heart fluttering with a mix of excitement and unease. This first-class ticket to London, a gift from Marcus for her 70th birthday, feels like a dream too big for her small world. "You've given me everything, Mom," Marcus had said, his voice thick over the phone from his Chicago office. "Now let me give you the world." Vivian had laughed, protested. She'd never even left the South before. But Marcus insisted, and here she is, 500 miles from her cozy Atlanta bungalow, feeling like a fish out of water among the lounge's crystal glasses and tailored suits. As she sips a ginger ale, her eyes trace the planes outside, her mind on Marcus. He's her pride, her CEO's son, but to her, he's still the boy who'd cling to her hand. Little does she know, that boy is about to shake the skies for her. The first-class cabin of Horizon Airlines Flight 214 to London is a cocoon of luxury. Plush leather seats, ambient gold lighting, and the faint clink of champagne glasses. But for Vivian Harris, it's a battlefield. She steps aboard, her heart racing with anticipation, her boarding pass for Seat 1A clutched like a lifeline. At 70, Vivian's poised, her purple dress elegant against her warm brown skin, her silver curls catching the light. She's ready to live her dream. But Karen Mitchell, the head flight attendant, has other plans. Karen, with her crisp uniform and a smile as sharp as a switchblade, zeroes in on Vivian the moment she enters. "Ma'am," she says, her voice a venomous drawl, You're in the wrong place. Economy's 50 rows back. Vivian blinks, her smile faltering. No, this is my seat 1A, she says, holding out her boarding pass with steady hands. Karen barely glances at it, her blue eyes raking over Vivian's dress, her sensible flats, her very presence. There's been a mistake, Karen snaps, her tone laced with disdain. These seats cost thousands. Let's not make a scene. The word scene lands like a slap, and Vivian feels the eyes of the cabin, wealthy passengers in tailored suits and designer dresses, boring into her. James Carter, a smug investor in a pinstriped suit, pipes up from 3B. Can you hurry this up? Some of us have places to be. Vivian's cheeks burn, but she stands her ground. My son, Marcus, bought this ticket for my birthday, she says, her voice soft but firm, like steel wrapped in velvet. Karen laughs, a cold, cruel sound that echoes in the cabin. Sweet story, but I'm the head purser here. I know who belongs in first class, and it's not you. She steps closer, her hand hovering as if to grab Vivian's arm. Move to the back, or I'll call security to drag you out in front of everyone. The threat is a gut punch. Vivian's heart pounds, her dream crumbling under the weight of public humiliation. Passengers whisper, some smirking, others looking away, their silence a betrayal. James Carter rolls his eyes, muttering, "Just go already." Vivian's fingers tremble, but her eyes blaze with defiance. She's a teacher, a mother, a survivor. She won't be broken. I'm staying, she says, her voice rising like a storm. Karen's face twists with fury. What happens next will leave this cabin, and the world, speechless. The first-class cabin of Horizon Airlines Flight 214 is a pressure cooker, the air thick with judgment and the sting of Karen Mitchell's venom. Vivian Harris, 70, stands rooted to her spot by seat 1A, her purple dress a quiet defiance against the storm of humiliation. Her silver curls gleam under the cabin's gold lights, but her hands tremble as Karen, the head flight attendant, looms over her. You're holding up this flight, Karen hisses, her voice a blade. Walk to economy now, or I'll have you hauled off this plane in handcuffs. The threat lands like a sledgehammer, and the cabin's elite passengers, men in Rolexes, women in Prada, watch with cold curiosity. James Carter, the investor in 3B, scoffs loudly. Enough drama. Just move her already. Vivian's heart thunders, each beat a reminder of the 70 years she's fought to be seen, to be respected. She's no stranger to prejudice, but this moment, being stripped of her dignity in front of strangers, cuts deeper than any wound. Yet something ignites within her, a fire forged from decades of raising Marcus alone, of grading papers by lamplight to pay for his college. I will not be moved, she says, her voice low but steady, like a river carving stone. Karen's eyes narrow, her smirk faltering. You're making a fool of yourself, she sneers. No one's coming to save you. But Vivian's not looking for a savior. She's calling her son. With hands that once steadied crying students, she pulls her phone from her purse, ignoring Karen's mocking laugh. Go ahead, call your lawyer, Karen taunts. Vivian dials Marcus, her rock, her boy who's now a titan. The phone rings once, twice. Mom! Marcus's voice, warm and urgent, cuts through the chaos. What's wrong? Tears prick Vivian's eyes, but she swallows them. Marcus, honey, she says, her voice breaking but firm. They're trying to take my seat. They're saying I don't belong. Karen rolls her eyes, oblivious to the storm she's unleashed. In a Chicago high-rise, 800 miles away, Marcus Harris, CEO of Horizon Airlines, is already moving. Vivian lowers the phone, her gaze locking onto Karen's. You'll see, she whispers, a spark of defiance in her eyes. The tide is about to turn. The first-class cabin of Horizon Airlines Flight 214 to London is a tinderbox, every whisper and glance fueling the tension. Vivian Harris, 70, stands resolute by seat 1A, her purple dress a beacon of defiance against Karen Mitchell's relentless scorn. Karen, the head flight attendant, towers over her, her voice a whip crack. You're done here, she snarls, gesturing to the jet bridge. Security's on their way. Vivian's silver curls tremble, but her eyes burn with unyielding resolve. The passengers, Atlanta's elite in their Armani suits and diamond studs, watch like vultures. James Carter, the investor in 3B, leans back, smirking. "About time," he mutters, sipping his scotch. Vivian clutches her phone, Marcus's voice still echoing in her mind. "I'm coming, Mom." Karen laughs. Cold and brittle. "Your son can't help you now." Then, the cabin door swings open, and the air shifts, like a storm rolling in over the Georgia plains. Marcus Harris steps aboard, a 6'2" tower of controlled fury in a tailored black suit. His presence is a gravitational force, sucking every ounce of smugness from the room. His deep brown skin glows under the cabin lights, his jaw set like granite, his eyes scanning the scene with lethal precision. The gate agent trails behind, breathless, stammering apologies. Karen's smirk freezes, her confidence cracking like thin ice. Marcus strides past her, his polished loafers silent on the carpet, and kneels beside Vivian. "Mom," he says, his voice a low, soothing balm. "Are you okay?" Vivian's trembling hand finds his, tears brimming but unshed. "I am now," she whispers, her smile a quiet triumph. Marcus rises, his full height a wall between his mother and the world. His gaze locks onto Karen, and the temperature in the cabin plummets. "You're Karen Mitchell?" he asks, his voice deceptively calm, each word a loaded bullet. Karen nods, her throat bobbing. "Why, yes, sir." Marcus reaches into his jacket, pulling out a sleek black business card. He holds it up, letting the gold-embossed text catch the light. Marcus Harris, CEO, Horizon Airlines. A collective gasp ripples through the cabin. Karen's face drains of color, her knees buckling. James Carter chokes on his drink, his smirk replaced by raw panic. "You humiliated my mother," Marcus says, his voice rising, a thunderclap of righteous anger. "You judged her by her skin, her clothes, her age. You thought you could break her." He steps closer, towering over Karen. "But you picked the wrong woman. My mother is Vivian Harris, the heart of everything I've built. And you're about to learn what happens when you cross her." The cabin is silent, every eye on Marcus. Justice has arrived, and it's only just begun. The first-class cabin of Horizon Airlines Flight 214 to London is frozen. A gallery of stunned faces bathed in the glow of reckoning. Marcus Harris, CEO, stands like a sentinel beside his mother, Vivian. His tailored black suit a stark contrast to the chaos he's unleashed. Vivian, 70, sits in seat 1A, her silver curls framing a face now calm, her purple dress a quiet emblem of victory. Karen Mitchell, the head flight attendant, is a ghost of her former self. Her crisp uniform wilted, her once smug smirk replaced by a mask of pure dread. Her blue eyes dart wildly, searching for an escape that doesn't exist. The passengers, Atlanta's elite, are silent, their earlier arrogance buried under the weight of Marcus's revelation. James Carter, the investor in 3B, grips his scotch glass, his knuckles white, knowing his own complicity is under scrutiny. Marcus's voice cuts through the silence, cold and unyielding. "Karen Mitchell, you're done." He pulls out his phone, his fingers swift as he dials HR. "This is Marcus Harris. I want a full investigation into Karen Mitchell, head purser on Flight 214. Pull her record, every complaint, every incident." The call is brief, but the response is damning. Karen's history unravels like a house of cards. Multiple passenger complaints, hushed-up microaggressions, a pattern of targeting minorities. Marcus's eyes narrow. "Effective immediately, you're suspended," he declares, his voice a gavel. "You'll be confined to the crew rest area until we land in London. You're done interacting with passengers. Ever." Karen collapses into a sob, her hands clutching her name tag as if it could save her. "Please, Mr. Harris," she chokes, tears streaking her mascara. "I have kids, a mortgage. I didn't mean it." Marcus's gaze is ice. "You didn't mean to humiliate my mother? To judge her worth by her skin?" he says, each word a precise strike. "You made a choice, Karen. Now live with it." He nods to a young flight attendant, Sarah, who steps forward, her face pale but resolute. "Escort her out," Marcus orders. Karen stumbles as Sarah leads her away, her sobs echoing down the aisle like a funeral dirge for her career. The cabin exhales, but the air is heavy with shame. James Carter sinks lower in his seat, his $1 million deal with Horizon Airlines now a pipe dream. Vivian watches quietly, her hand resting on her Toni Morrison book, her heart steady. Justice has been served, but the real storm is just beginning. The first-class cabin of Horizon Airlines Flight 214 to London is a graveyard of egos. The silence deafening after Karen Mitchell's tear-soaked exit. Vivian Harris, 70, sits in seat 1A, her purple dress a quiet testament to her resilience, her silver curls catching the cabin's soft glow. Marcus Harris, her son and CEO of Horizon Airlines, stands at the front, his 6'2" frame radiating authority in his tailored black suit. His deep brown eyes sweep over the passengers, Atlanta's elite, now squirming under the weight of their complicity. James Carter, the investor in 3B, avoids Marcus's gaze, his scotch glass forgotten. The air crackles with anticipation, every soul on board sensing a moment that will echo far beyond this plane. Marcus steps to the intercom, his hand steady as he lifts the receiver. "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," he begins, his voice a deep, resonant force that fills the 300-foot aircraft from first class to the back of economy. "This is Marcus Harris, CEO of Horizon Airlines. I apologize for the delay, but we've had to address an unacceptable incident." His words are measured, but each one lands like a stone. One of our crew members humiliated a passenger, my mother, Vivian Harris, based on nothing but prejudice. This stops here. Horizon Airlines stands for respect, dignity, and inclusion. These aren't just buzzwords in a boardroom. They're the heartbeat of who we are. He pauses, letting the weight settle. My mother taught me that every person deserves a seat at the table, no matter their skin, their clothes, or their story. Today, she was denied hers. But let me be clear, as long as I'm CEO, no one will be judged or diminished on my airline. In the economy cabin, a wave of applause erupts, raw and heartfelt, from families, students, and workers who felt the sting of being overlooked. In first class, the silence is suffocating, the passengers' earlier smirks now buried in shame. Vivian looks at Marcus, her eyes shining with pride, her hand resting on her Toni Morrison book. Marcus concludes, "We'll get you to London safely, and we'll do it with the respect you deserve." "Thank you." The applause grows, a thunderous endorsement of justice. Vivian smiles softly. Her son has spoken, and the world is listening. The London skyline sparkles like a jewel box as Vivian Harris stands on the balcony of her suite at the Savoy, the Thames River glinting 200 feet below. At 70, Vivian is a vision of grace, her silver curls loose in the evening breeze, her warm brown skin glowing against a cream silk robe that feels like a whisper on her shoulders. The ordeal on Horizon Airlines Flight 214, the sting of Karen Mitchell's scorn, the weight of judgmental stares, lingers like a bruise. But here, in this city she's dreamed of since her teaching days in Atlanta, Vivian feels the first stirrings of peace. Her purple dress hangs in the closet, replaced by this moment of quiet luxury, a gift from her son, Marcus. Inside, the suite is a haven of velvet armchairs and crystal chandeliers, but Vivian's heart is with the man sitting across from her now. Marcus, still in his tailored suit but with his tie loosened, watches his mother with eyes full of love and concern. "Mom," he says, his voice a low rumble, "you were incredible back there. You stood tall when they tried to tear you down." Vivian sips her chamomile tea, the warmth steadying her. "I was scared, Marcus," she admits, her voice soft as a Georgia summer night. "For a moment, I believed her, that I didn't belong, that I was just an old black woman in the wrong place." Marcus leans forward, his hand covering hers. "You belong everywhere, Mom. You taught me that. You worked double shifts, graded papers till midnight, so I could sit in boardrooms. That plane, this hotel, the whole damn world, it's yours." Tears well in Vivian's eyes, but they're not from pain. They're from the fierce, unbreakable bond between them. She thinks of her late husband, his calloused hands building their Atlanta home, and how Marcus carries his fire. "You're my miracle," she whispers, squeezing his hand. Outside, Big Ben chimes softly, marking the start of Vivian's dream. She looks at the city lights, her heart swelling. The humiliation of the flight fades, replaced by a quiet joy. Marcus smiles, his pride a beacon. "Let's see London tomorrow, Mom," he says. "This is your time." Vivian nods, her smile radiant. She's not just surviving, she's soaring. In the opulent suite at the Savoy, 3,500 miles from Atlanta, Vivian Harris stands by a grand window, the London skyline shimmering like a promise. Her silver curls catch the morning light, her warm brown skin glowing as she sips coffee, still wrapped in the afterglow of her healing night. Marcus, her son and CEO of Horizon Airlines, sits at a mahogany desk, his tailored suit crisp but his eyes tired. His phone buzzes relentlessly, a digital wildfire spreading faster than a Georgia summer storm. The story of Vivian's humiliation on Flight 214 and Marcus's thunderous response has exploded across the globe. Headlines scream from every major outlet. CEO flies 800 miles to defend mom from racist flight attendant. CNN, The Washington Post, even TMZ splash Vivian's name across screens. The hashtag #FlyWithVivian trends on Twitter, racking up 2 million posts in 24 hours. Clips of Marcus's intercom speech, secretly recorded by an economy passenger, go viral, amassing 10 million views on YouTube. Strangers hail Vivian as a hero, a 70-year-old black woman who stood tall against prejudice. She's an icon, one tweet reads. Another, booked my next flight with Horizon. #FlyWithVivian. But the internet is a double-edged sword. Trolls slither from dark corners, spewing venom. It's a PR stunt. She played the race card. The ugliness stings, a reminder of the world Vivian's always navigated. Marcus scrolls through the chaos, his jaw tight. Most folks are with us, Mom, he says, showing her a flood of supportive messages. Letters from teachers, parents, even a kid in Ohio who says Vivian inspires her to dream big. But Vivian's heart aches at the hate, her teacher's soul mourning a world still divided. Karen Mitchell, meanwhile, is a pariah back in Atlanta. Her face plasters news channels, her rose-trimmed suburban home blurred in drone shots. Her husband hasn't spoken to her in days, and her inbox drowns in threats and pity. She flips through TV channels, each one branding her the racist flight attendant, her career and pride reduced to ash. James Carter, the investor who egged Karen on, sweats in his Buckhead penthouse. His $5 million contract with Horizon is cancelled. His phone silent as clients vanish. Vivian sets her coffee down, her eyes on London's horizon. This isn't just about me, Marcus, she says, her voice steady. It's about everyone who's been made to feel small. Marcus nods, sensing a shift. Their fight is no longer personal. It's a movement, and it's just getting started. Back in the gilded suite at the Savoy, Vivian Harris sits at a glass table, her silver curls glowing under a chandelier's soft light. The London morning hums outside, but her focus is on a tablet Marcus handed her, its screen alive with a tidal wave of voices. The #FlyWithVivian movement, now trending with 5 million posts, has ignited a firestorm of stories from strangers across the globe. At 70, Vivian, her warm brown skin radiant in a soft cardigan, feels the weight of her ordeal on Horizon Airlines Flight 214 transforming into something bigger, a chorus of the unheard. Her eyes, once heavy with the sting of Karen Mitchell's scorn, now shine with purpose. It starts with Aisha Thompson, a 22-year-old college student from Macon, Georgia, who was on the same flight in economy. Aisha's viral TikTok, filmed in her dorm 4,000 miles away, recounts Karen's cruelty. She sneered at me for my hijab, Aisha says, her voice trembling but fierce. Told me to fit in, or get off the plane. I stayed quiet then, but Vivian Harris showed me we don't have to. The video racks up 15 million views in 48 hours, sparking a flood of confessions. A black veteran from Chicago shares how Karen once mocked his worn duffel bag. A Latina mother from Miami recalls being questioned about her first-class ticket. Each story is a brick in a growing wall of resistance, shared on Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit, with #FlyWithVivian as the rallying cry. Vivian reads the posts, her teacher's heart aching for every soul diminished by prejudice. Marcus, she says, her voice steady as a Georgia oak. These people aren't just angry, they're hurt. They're us. Marcus, his tailored suit traded for a sweater, nods, his CEO mind already mapping a response. The stories pile up, 500 messages in an hour, from teens to retirees, all echoing Vivian's stand. Aisha's video inspires a protest at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, where 200 people chant, "Fly with dignity." Vivian clutches her Toni Morrison book, tears falling. Her fight, born in a 300-foot airplane cabin, has become a movement. We can't stop now, she tells Marcus, her resolve ironclad. The community has spoken, and Vivian Harris is ready to lead. 6 months later, the grand ballroom of Atlanta's Marriott Marquis hums with energy, its 30-foot ceilings draped in golden light. Vivian Harris, now 71, stands at a polished podium, her warm brown skin radiant in a sapphire blue gown, a gift from Marcus that hugs her graceful frame. Her silver curls shimmer, framing a face etched with resilience and hope. The crowd, 500 activists, journalists, and supporters, watches in rapt silence, their eyes fixed on the woman whose stand on a 300-foot airplane cabin sparked a global movement. Vivian's hands, once steady grading papers in Atlanta's South Side, tremble slightly on the lectern, but her voice is a beacon, clear and unwavering. "Ladies and gentlemen," Vivian begins, her words echoing through the 10,000-square-foot room, "I'm no hero. I'm a teacher, a mother, a black woman who refused to be invisible." She pauses, her gaze sweeping the room. "What happened to me on Horizon Airlines Flight 214, being told I didn't belong, happened because someone saw my skin, my age, and judged my worth. But it's not just my story. It's the story of millions, and tonight, we're writing a new chapter." The crowd leans in, hanging on her every word. Vivian announces the Vivian Harris Foundation for Dignified Travel, a $10 million initiative to combat discrimination in aviation. "We're funding training programs to root out bias," she says, her voice rising, "and scholarships for kids from places like my old neighborhood, so they can soar in this industry." Marcus, seated in the front row, his tailored suit sharp, watches his mother with pride, his eyes glistening. He's pledged the seed money, but the vision is Vivian's, a teacher's dream to lift others up. The foundation partners with civil rights groups, launching Dignity in the Skies, a mandatory course for every Horizon employee, from pilots to gate agents. "I stood up because my son, Marcus, gave me strength," Vivian continues, her voice thick with emotion. "But you, your stories, your voices, gave me purpose." She nods to Aisha Thompson, the young woman whose viral TikTok fueled #FlyWithVivian, now a foundation ambassador. The crowd erupts, a standing ovation shaking the chandeliers. Vivian smiles, her heart full. Her humiliation, once a wound, is now a legacy. From a first-class seat to this stage, she's built a bridge for others to cross. Marcus rises, clapping hardest of all, knowing his mother's light will shine for generations. The Atlanta night sparkles outside the Marriott Marquis, its skyline a canvas of dreams as the Vivian Harris Foundation Gala draws to a close. Vivian Harris, 71, steps off the stage, her sapphire blue gown catching the light, her silver curls a crown of resilience. Marcus, her son and Horizon Airlines CEO, stands beside her, his tailored suit sharp, his hand gently on her shoulder. The ballroom's 500 guests are still buzzing, their applause a thunderous echo of Vivian's triumph. From a 300-foot airplane cabin to this moment, Vivian's journey, born from a first-class seat denied, has become a beacon for millions. Her story, ignited by a single act of defiance, has reshaped an airline, launched a foundation, and inspired a movement. But it's more than a headline, it's a lesson etched in the heart of every person watching. Vivian's courage teaches us that dignity isn't given, it's claimed. When Karen Mitchell tried to strip her of her place, Vivian stood firm, her voice a quiet roar, "I will not be moved." At 70, a black woman from Atlanta's South Side, she refused to let prejudice define her worth. Her kin din, fueled by a mother's love and a teacher's resolve, turned humiliation into a legacy. Marcus, her rock, amplified her stand, proving that power, when rooted in justice, can move mountains. Their story reminds us, no matter your age, your skin, or your story, you have the strength to rise. In a world quick to judge, Ken Din is your shield. Whether it's a first-class seat or a seat at life's table, claim it. Speak up. Stand tall. You belong. So, what's your story? Have you faced a moment where you felt unseen? Share it with us using #FlyWithVivian. Let's keep this movement alive, on Twitter, TikTok, or right here in the comments. Like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more stories that light the way. Vivian and Marcus showed us that one voice can spark a revolution, but it's our collective voices that sustain it. As Vivian said, we're not invisible. So, go out there, 3,000 miles or 3 steps from where you stand, and live with a Ken Din that changes the world. Thank you for joining us. Let's fly with dignity, together.